So we're on the verge of Lord Krishna's appearance day, Janmastami Mahotsava ki. And so we are leading up to that very eventful day where we can celebrate the appearance of Lord Krishna here in this tiny universe and here on this area called Bharatvarsha. So Krishna, he appears within every universe that emanates from his Purusha avatar, Karanadakshay Vishnu. In every universe he appears once in a day of Brahma, 4,300,000,000 solar years. He appears by his sweet will, Karvana Daivanetrina Dehu Jantu Papate. He doesn't appear by the force of his karma. Janma karma chime divyam evam yo veti tatvadaha. His janma and karma are divyam, they're transcendental, they're divine. And by his sweet will, he appears mainly for the pleasure of his devotees, although he tells Arjuna, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam, says, I come to, kill the demons, so many demons in the material world, and to protect my devotees. And Ramadi Murtishu Kala Niyamena Sishtan Nanavatarama Karod Bhuvaneshu Kintu, that he has millions and millions of avatars who come for the purpose of reestablishing the principles of religion whenever there's a decline in religion due to the influence of his own Maya Shakti, which influences the conditioned souls to become entrapped here in the material world. So the background is that Devaki and Vasudev, they're actually during the previous Manvantara, Swayambhuva millennium, Swayambhuva Manvantarya, the previous one. Now we're in Vaivashvata Manvantar. There were some Prajapatis, Sutapa and Prishni. They were married, and Lord Brahma wanted them to propagate various beings. Lord Brahma is the great Prajapati of the universe. But they wanted to perform great austerities. So for 12,000 celestial years, they simply ate leaves and performed great austerities. And their desire was to have the Supreme Lord as their son. And the Lord, being very pleased after this long time of 12,000 celestial years, he appeared as Prishni Garbha, the son of Prishni and Sutapa. Prishni Garbha literally means the womb of Prishni. So they wanted to again have a son in their next incarnation, which was Kasyapa Muni and Aditi. And they gave birth again to Upendra, or Lord Vamanadev. And Vamanadev, of course, a very beautiful Brahmin boy. He appeared because Bali Maharaj, due to the power of his sadhana and so on, and the fact that Lord Indra had offended Brihaspati one time. Of course, many times Lord Indra offended his spiritual master. Yasya prasada, Bhagavat prasada, Yasya prasada, na kati katopi. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, one's whereabouts are unknown, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti. So, Lord Indra was traveling on his elephant Airavata, and Brihaspati came by him and offered him a beautiful garland from his own neck. And Lord Indra took it and he proudly put it on the trunk of Airavata, the elephant. And of course the elephant didn't know any better and he threw it on the ground and trampled it. So this is one event where Brihaspati became very annoyed with Indra and he just left the demigods. So the demigods were in a very weakened position, and as they were battling with the Daityas, as Krishna says in the 16th chapter, two kinds of human beings, the Daityas, the demons, and the devotees. And then he goes on to elaborate on the qualities of devotees to Arjuna. Abhayam sattva samshuddhir jnana yoga vyavastitihi dhanam damascha yagyascha swadhyaya tapa arjavam ahimsa shantir aropya mardavam rira chapalam. He goes on telling all these qualities. First one is abhay, fearless. Shatva shamshuddhir, purification of one's existence. And then he goes on to describe the qualities of the demons. Dambo, Darpo, Abhimanascha, pride, arrogance, conceit, harshness, anger, and more qualities, atheism, desire to enjoy this sense gratification, aneka chitta vibranta, mohajala samarvitaha. Throughout the 16th chapter, he's describing the qualities of more of the demons. So, Bali Maharaj, although he was born in the family of demons, he actually was a devotee of the Lord. And he's actually one of the great Mahajans. So, during this time when the demons were fighting with the demigods were losing, and so they started meditating on Lord Vishnu, who appeared on the back of Garuda. And one of the commanders-in-chief of the demon side was Kaumeni. Now Kaumeni is a descendant of Hiranyakashipu, and he had 6 sons called the Sadgarbhas. Now these Sadgarbhas, actually they were very pious. And so they started performing great austerities to please Lord Brahma. And Hiranyakashipu got very angry. He was the grandfather. And he cursed them. He said, "What? Why are you, performing these austerities for self-realization? You should be like me. Just take over the world. Become powerful." Adobi janavanasmi konostu sadrisham maya. Ishvaraham maham bogi. I'm the controller, I'm the enjoyer, like that. So he cursed them that your own father Kaumeni in your next incarnation, he will kill you. So Kaumeni took birth as Kamsa, the son of Ugrasena. And we know that the 8th son of Devaki was destined to kill Kansa. So when Kansa was in the marriage ceremony, going on his chariot with his sister Devaki, and they were going along, a voice from the sky, I suspect it was Narada Muni, because Narada Muni likes to expedite things. He wants to expedite the appearance of Krishna. He said, "You fool Kamsa, don't you know that the 8th son of Devaki is is your nemesis? He will kill you." So Kamsa was a very demonic king. He actually took over and ruled many, many kings from the various dynasties, even the Yadu dynasty, the Bhoja dynasty, various dynasties. They were all under Kansa. And his ally, he allied himself with many demons like Jarasandha and other big demons, Bhaumasura and so on. So there was a huge weight and pressure by the demons on Bharat Bhumi. And we hear that the earth planet manifested as a cow went and approached Lord Brahma. Please help. It's time for Krishna to appear, for the Lord to come and relieve the burden of the earth. So these Sadgarbhas, these 6 sons, every time, of course, Vasudeva, he convinced Kansa, he said, you know, it's your sister's wedding ceremony. How could you can't be that low that you're going to kill your sister on her wedding day. Kamsa took his sword out and he was going to kill his own sister at her wedding ceremony. That's very demonic, isn't it? It's like the demons, they don't care. They'll kill their brothers. Srila Prabhupada says in that particular point in the Krishna book that the demons sometimes kill their fathers, sometimes their sons. They don't care. Their hearts are full of hate and anger. So Kans, for the sake of self-preservation, was going to kill Devaki. But Vasudeva, being a great diplomat, he was a Kshatriya, he started preaching to Kansa about morality, and it doesn't look good if you do this heinous act on her wedding day, you lose popularity. And he convinced him. So Kans, he took Vasudeva and Devaki and put them in the prison in his palace. And every time a son was born, the 6 sons, the first 6 sons, they're all killed by Kansa. So, of course, Krishna had his own plan. So he ordered Lord Balaram. Lord Balaram is actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His color is white, like a beautiful white cloud. And he wears a blue dhoti, so he can always remember Krishna, who is dark blue in complexion. But he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a mood of service to Lord Krishna. And he manifests as all of Krishna's paraphernalia, like Krishna's walking stick, Krishna's garments, Krishna's ornaments. He even appears, he manifests himself as Dham Tattva, as the Tattva of the Holy Dham. He's actually a manifestation of the Holy Dham Vrindavan. So Krishna wanted him to appear before him. And there's some other stories about Lord Balaram's appearance. So Lord Balaram was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the womb of Devaki. There was no seminal birth here. The Lord merely manifested himself within the pure devotee's mind, Vasudeva, and transferred into the womb of Devaki. Now this is their 3rd incarnation. The second one was Kasyapa and Aditi. The first one was Krishna and Sutapa. This is their final incarnation before they go back to Vaikuntha. So, why did Lord Balaram appear first? In the womb of Devaki. Vishwanath Chakravarti describes that because 6 grandsons of Hiranyakashipu who are demonic, and they also represent the 6 enemies of the soul. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. The 6 enemies of the soul: lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and envy. So, it's considered, the acharyas say that Devaki's womb has to be very pure to receive Lord Krishna. So Lord Balaram, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead in service to Krishna, or Ananta Shesh, he appeared within the womb prior to Krishna, and he cleaned the womb of all these 6 enemies of the soul, of the 6 Sadgarbhas. So that when Krishna appears, it'll be a very pure, pristine womb. So then, after that, it appeared that Devaki has a miscarriage, but actually, by Yogamaya's potency, Lord Krishna invoked that Yogamaya would appear in the womb of Yashoda Mai, but that she would also arrange that Lord Balaram would be transferred from the womb of Devaki into the womb of Rohini. So Lord Balaram is now being transferred from Devaki's womb into Rohini's womb. Now Rohini is one of the 16 wives of Vasudeva. He's a Kshatriya, he has many wives. So Rohini, because of certain dangers and so on in Mathura, she was taken to Gokula, to Nandagram, where she lived under the shelter of Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj. So during this time, by the influence of Yogamaya also, many, many demigods appeared in Gokula. The brothers of Nanda Maharaj, the brothers of Maharaj Vrishabhanu, all these great personalities started appearing to receive Krishna. Many, many demigods were appearing as cowherd boys and cowherd gopis, and different inhabitants of Vrindavan were starting to appear. So Krishna comes with a huge entourage. Some personalities appeared as cows, some personalities appeared as kalpavikshatris, and so on. So Balaram then appears as the son of Rohini, and then Krishna, excuse me, he appears to Devaki and Vasudeva. And he appears before them in his four-armed form. So Vasudeva and Devaki, they offer prayers that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is Vasudeva Krishna. This is not Nandanandana Krishna. Nandanandana Krishna, Vrindavana Prachaja Padamikam Nadi Gachati. Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, never leaves Vrindavan. We know that when he was being taken away to go and kill the Kansa, that they stopped by the Yamuna River, and when Akrura went to do his Gayatri and take bath in Yamuna, he saw that Krishna and Balaram in the chariot. Then he looked over in the Yamuna, and there was Balaram's expansion, Anantashesh, and Lord Vishnu lying on Anantashesh in the Yamuna. So they transformed into Vaikunthapatis. They transformed into Vasudeva Krishna and Balaram in the Aishvarya mood. And they remain in their aprakasha state in Vrindavan, Gokula Vrindavan. They don't leave. They're either there in their prakash or aprakash state, manifest or unmanifest. And actually, because the inhabitants of Vrindavan are always remembering Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's activities and Krishna's beauty and his flute playing and so on, he's always there in their memories. So, Krishna appears in his four-armed form, and Vasudeva and Devaki, they're offering these wonderful prayers of how, although all the universes remain within the belly of Lord Krishna in the form of Mahavishnu, suddenly he has appeared mysteriously and by his mystic potencies in the womb of Devaki. And that he is Adantaracha Paramanu Chiantarasta. He's in every atom and between every atom. He's a supreme, all-pervading, all-powerful. So they're offering these prayers of awe and veneration. That Krishna is actually the supreme, absolute, unlimited personality of Godhead. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadam, Anantarupam, Adyapurana, Purusham, Navayovanam cha. Videsha Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhakto, Govindam Adi Purusham, Tamaham Bhajami. Prayers by Lord Brahma. They see Krishna like this. So then, of course, the Lord arranges that the shackles of Vasudeva are released, and that the doors all open in the prison, and all the guards go into a very deep sleep. And now Vasudeva is taking Krishna over to Gokula, over to the house of, or the palace of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai. So by Krishna's arrangement, there's a great storm, because they wanted to keep everything secret. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that in order that not too many people knew that Krishna is being transferred, a great storm came about. And Vishwanath Chakravarti says, why was there this great rainstorm? Well, Krishna was born in prison, and there was no bathroom there. There was no bath to bathe him or clean him. So the rain cloud took the opportunity to come and give Krishna his first bath. This is described by Vishwanath Chakravarti. So as they were crossing, the storm was going, and Lord Shesh appeared, Balaram appeared, Lord Shesh, as the umbrella of Lord Krishna. In this way, the Yamuna River was also swelling, but she parted, just like the Red Sea. She parted like the Red Sea, so that Vasudeva could cross and go to Nanda Maharaj's house. So Mother Yashoda was very tired from child labor. Her Yogamaya took birth, Krishna's sister Subhadra, and Vasudeva did the switch. And then took Yogamaya Subhadra back to the prison of Kans. The gates closed, the doors locked up. Vasudeva put his shackles back on. And then when Kamsa got news that the child was born, he came racing down there. And he picked up, although Vasudeva said, it's a girl. And Devaki was pleading, my dear brother, please, you're a good man. You're a nice guy. Please don't kill my daughter. However, he snatched her and picked her up, and he's about to throw her down on the stone and crush and break her head open, the little baby. But Yogamaya got up in the air with her 8 arms. She is Durga. And she said, you fool Kans. You're the son of Vasudeva, your future nemesis, has already been taken birth somewhere in Vrindavan, somewhere in this area. And you are destined to die by his hand. And then she disappeared. So she's known as many names, Bhadrakali, Kali, Durga, Himavati, so many names she's known as. She's the wife of Lord Shiva. And here she's also known in Krishna's pastimes as Subhadra, the sister of Lord Krishna. So then Kamsa becomes he panics and he becomes very disturbed in his mind. He's thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? The prediction is that I'm going to die at the hands of Krishna. So he starts thinking, and Vasudeva convinces him, you're actually, deep down inside, you're a nice guy. So he convinces Kans to release him and Devaki. So Devaki and Kans are actually released for a short period of time. And Kansa goes and he speaks to his ministers, and they say, oh, this is very dangerous. They're all demons. So they start making plans. We have to kill all the newborn sons within the last 10 days. We have to kill all the newborn sons in the area of Vrindavan. Kill them all. One of them is my nemesis. So Vasudeva and Devaki, they're allowed to stay in a place in Mathura, and Kansa decides that the first person he's going to send to kill Krishna is a witch called Putana. Who is Putana? And the Garga Samhita describes that when Aditi and Kashyapa, when they gave birth to Lord Vamadeva or Upendra, he was such a beautiful boy that Bali Maharaj had a daughter, and her name was Ratnamala. And she was also quite pious. After all, Bali is a pure devotee of the Lord. He's a Mahajan. So when she saw Vaman, she actually fell in love with this little boy, and she thought, oh, I wish I could be his mother. I wish I could treat him and nurse him like a mother. And she had this wish. So Lord Vishnu fulfilled her wish and said, in your next life, in Dwapara Yuga, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, I'm going to arrange for you. You can be Putana. And so Putana, although she was, Prabhupada says, expert in witchcraft. He says witchcraft, still today, there's some personalities in northwest India who are expert at writing on branches. And they can use tantras and mantras and tantras to write on branches, and they know the black arts. So Putana, she was going around killing little babies with her black arts. She had mystic power, so she took the form of a beautiful woman, and she entered the nursery of Mother Yashoda. And she put some poison on her breast, some dutura on her breast, and she decided, she recognized that Krishna was a very special person. So all the ladies, all the gopis there, the friends of Yashoda, they simply, by her magical beauty, they just allowed her to go and take Krishna in her arms, and she was nursing Krishna. It says that Krishna, he was a little apprehensive that she might recognize that he was her death toll, her death knell. So he closed his eyes. Also, when little babies are about to nurse, usually they close their eyes for comforting. So Krishna closes his eyes and sucks the life air out of Putana's body. And she's trying to push him off, and she's trying to get out of the house, and she falls and crashes on the ground, and she's 12 miles long. Huge. And of course, Mother Yashoda and all the gopis are all upset. All the elderly gopis are all traumatized. Who is this demoness? But Krishna is actually just playing on her belly. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And thus, Putana's soul enters into his body, and she gets moksha, described by Garga Muni. The Putana, she gets moksha. One of the next demons was a person called Bakasura. Bakasura is a big crane, a big duck. And in previous life, he was Utkanga. Utkanga was the son of a big great demon, and he ruled many, many kings, and he would take all their possessions in Bharatvarsha, and he was very proud. So one day he was at the mouth of the Ganga Sagara, and he was walking there, and there was a rishi sitting there. The rishi's name was Jaljali Rishi. And the rishi told Utkanga, he said, "What are you doing?" Utkanga had a fish line and a hook, and he was catching fish out of the holy Ganga. And the rishi said, "You're so offensive. This is the holy Ganga. Those fish are very special. Ganga came down from the toe of Vishnu, went all through the universe. These fish are very special, just like the Damvasis here. All the dogs, mosquitoes, they're all Damvasis." But Utkanga simply ignored him and kept fishing. Therefore the rishi got angry and cursed him. He said, "Now, by my power, you shall take birth as a duck or a crane. And that's what your behavior is like." So he cursed him to take birth as a duck or a crane. However, the demon, Utkanga, he was very remorseful, and he begged the rishi, please forgive me, please somehow or other reduce this curse you've given. So then the rishi said, "Okay, I can give you also a benediction that in your next life at the end of Dwapara Yuga, when Krishna appears in Bharatvarsha, here in Bharatvarsha, you will be killed by Krishna and you will get moksha." So the duck demon was sent by Kansa to kill Krishna. At that time, many, many demigods had come to see Krishna's pastimes. And so when the duck demon approached to kill Krishna, he actually swallowed Krishna and kept him in his throat. He's actually more of a crane than a duck. He had a long neck. So Lord Brahma took his Brahma Danda and he attacked the duck and he smashed the duck. And the duck fell over for a short while. He was unconscious, but then he revived himself and Lord Brahma's Danda was broken. Then Lord Shiva came with his trident and he threw his trident at the duck, cut his wing off. The duck didn't care. He just sighed and came back, you know. All the demigods were coming. Soma came with his ice weapon, attacked the duck. Agni came, burnt all the feathers of the duck. Duck didn't care. Another demigod came and cut one of his feet off. The duck, nothing seemed to bother him. All the demigods, even Durga came and she attacked him. But the duck was so powerful, none of the demigods could. In fact, the duck started chasing the demigods away. So then Lord Krishna decided to take the life of the duck, and he manifested his universal Virat form within the neck of the duck, and he expanded himself, and the duck immediately disgorged Krishna. He felt this thing growing in his neck, and he went, and he disgorged Krishna. When Krishna came out, he grabbed the duck's beaks and stood on the bottom beak, and took the other beak and bifurcated the duck. And then the duck soul came out and entered into the body of Lord Krishna, and he got moksha as well. So Krishna is all merciful. He's a Papa Vidham. No sin can touch him. Even when he's killing these demons, they're all getting liberated. They're all getting moksha. That is Krishna's mercy. It's described Prabhupada describes in the purport of the Upanishad that just as when the sun, even if it touches urine, it purifies the urine and extracts the water. So Krishna purifies the demons by killing them, and they get moksha. So the next demon that was sent by Kans, he was sending so many demons. In the morning, Krishna would kill a demon after breakfast. Then at lunchtime, Krishna and Balaram would have lunch, another demon would be killed. And then in the evening, another demon would be killed before Krishna went home. In this way, all the demons were being sent and Krishna was busy killing them, him and Balaram. So Aga, he was also a very proud fellow. He was a very beautiful demon, very handsome. And one time he was walking by the Malaya hills and he saw this Astavakra Muni. He was deformed and his body was bent in 8 places, right? And this proud demon, Aga, looked at the Muni and went, "You're so ugly and deformed." And the Muni, he became so enraged. He said, "Oh, you think I'm ugly? I curse you to take birth as the ugliest serpent in the universe." And of course, Aga, again, he felt great remorse, and he begged the Muni to forgive him. He wanted forgiveness, and he begged, and of course the rishis are very soft-hearted. He said, "I'll give you a benediction that when Krishna appears in Dwapara Yuga, you will be blessed by being killed by Krishna." So we know that this big Aghasura demon, who was very long, 12 miles long or something, his nose touched the sky, and there was fishy bad smell coming from his mouth, and his teeth he had teeth that looked like plows, and he had these huge eyes which were bloodshot. And the coward boys, he thought there was a cave, and they walked into the body of Aghasura, and Krishna was thinking how much confidence they have in me. They thought, Krishna will protect me if I go. So Krishna went inside the body of Aghasura, and gradually Krishna expanded himself, and the life air of Aghasura popped through his head. And when Krishna came out of his body with the cowherd boys, who he revived, the soul of Aghasura, which was hovering over the dead body, entered into Krishna's body, and he got moksha. So these are some of the pastimes of the Lord. And Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj, Mother Yashoda was starting to get very worried that all these demons are coming and attacking Krishna. Now we can go back a little bit to when Nanda Maharaj became very happy to see that he had gotten a nice son. And therefore, in his great happiness, he organized a huge festival, and he gave away 100,000 cows. These cows, of course, were very beautifully decorated. Their horns were plated with gold. Their necks were glistening with gold, pure gold necklaces. Maharaj Nanda was giving away thousands of cows to the Brahmins. And he also was giving away profuse amounts of grains. And there's this huge celebration at the palace of Maharaj Nanda, and all the demigods were coming. All the demigods came there. The sun god came in his chariot. Lord Brahma came on his swan. Lord Shiva came on his bull Nandi. All the various demigods came to see Lord Krishna at this great ceremony and celebration that Nanda Maharaj has gotten this beautiful boy, Krishna. So these celebrations were going on, and actually Nanda Maharaj, after that, he decided to go to Mathura and pay some taxes with some of his cowherd men. And when they went there, they actually met Vasudev, who had still been temporarily released by Kans. And so Vasudev got news that Krishna was safe, and that Balaram was also there, his son Balaram was there, and they were living a very happy life, little cowherd boys, little boys, in fact, in Vrindavan. Krishna is very unique. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the incarnations actually reside within his body. Millions and trillions of incarnations. But in Vrindavan, he's just a cowherd boy, and by the potency of Yogamaya, he's conducting all these various pastimes, and he's exchanging the various rasas, Sakyaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalya ras, and Madhurya ras with all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. They're not ordinary personalities, they're very special to come and engage in these leelas with Krishna, what to speak of Mother Yashoda. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in Kali Yuga, he's revealing to us what does it mean to love God. Prema Pumartha Mahan, the whole goal of our lives is how to experience ecstatic love of God. And it's described by Rupa Goswami and the six Goswamis, the experience of love of God, what it's like, what are the impetuses for loving Krishna, what are the descriptions, what are the subtle nuances of the devotee's love for Krishna. So when Krishna was being embraced by Kaliya, the serpent, he was hiding, in the Yamuna River, we know. And when Krishna jumped in the river, Kaliya came up, and he was so full of hate and anger, he didn't recognize Krishna, and he embraced him in his coils. So at that point, when Mother Yashoda was standing there, Rupa Goswami says that she became so crazy that she started offering prayers to the trees. She thought they were great sages. And she was praying, please find me some remedies, some herbal remedies to cure Krishna from the awful poison of Kaliya. So they're completely covered over by Purnamasi, by Yogamaya. By Purnamasi's arrangement, no one understands that Krishna is supreme position, superlative position. And even Maharaj Nanda, he was telling Mother Yashoda that our life is finished. How can Krishna escape from the coils of Kaliya? Let us just enter into the Yamuna and give our lives up. So in this way we see that without Krishna, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays in his Shishashtakam, Yugaitam Nameshena Chakshusha Pravishayitam Shunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me. That a moment feels like 12 years or more of separation in ecstasy. Tears flow from my eyes in torrents of rain when when I think of you. So this is these are symptoms described by the 6 Goswamis. This is very emotional. Krishna reveals himself to the devotees. Of course, these devotees are bhaktastu ananyaya shakya. Arjuna is told by Krishna that you can't know me. Naham vedar na tapasa na danena na chejaya. You can't know me simply by performing Vedic rituals or studying the Vedas, by performing great austerities like Hiranyakashipu. He performed such great austerities for the wrong reason. He was so powerful with his austerities that the demigods became completely traumatized and agitated by his powerful fire coming from his forehead. So, nadanina nachejaya, can't see me by performance of charity and so on, outside of serving Krishna. Bhaktistu ananyaya. So without any material desire, if you approach Krishna, he says, then Arjuna, you can see me in this form, this two-armed form. So Krishna is unique in this way that he reveals himself. He's purchased by his devotees, Bhakta Vatsalya. He's the property of his devotees. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was mentioning that when Krishna was lifting Govardhan Hill, and he was observing the pure love of his devotees, Krishna's hands started shaking uncontrollably. And Vishwanath Chakravarti describes that his hand wasn't shaking for weakness or something. It was shaking because he was so overwhelmed by the love of his devotees. And it's described that the love of his devotees in Vrindavan is so deep and so unfathomable that he takes birth in Kali Yuga as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to try and taste a little bit of that love, that these devotees have for him. We know that when Akrura, which his name means not cruel, when Akrura was taking Krishna Balaram out of Vrindavan, some of the gopis even gave up their lives. They couldn't live without him like that. And when Krishna met the inhabitants of Vrindavan at Kuruksetra, when he came from Dwarka, he promised them that he has to come back to Vrindavan. And he said, you inhabitants of Vrindavan, you are the very life of myself. You're my very life. But of all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, he says, the gopis are my very, very life. But Radharani, you are the life of my very life. So Krishna can't live without this love of his devotees. He makes himself desperate for their love. And so these are exhibited by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's empowered the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, especially Rupa Goswami. And Rupa Goswami describes the immense love in some of his poetry, the immense love that Radharani experiences for Krishna. She is the epitome of pure love of God, Mahabhav. And Rupa Goswami quotes a letter that after Krishna leaves, Lalita, she's writing a letter to Krishna. And she's saying that Radharani's heart is like a locket full of molten gold. It's burning out of separation from Krishna, just like molten gold. And that she writes a letter, Krishna is saying, Radharani is lying on the ground unconscious. and her heart is burning up out of separation from you, Krishna. She says, I'll put a cotton swab to her nose, and if she's still breathing, I shall chastise her. So in this way, she's chastising. She's a left-wing gopi. And Radharani, she's also very left-wing. A left-wing gopi is one who derives pleasure from picking quarrels with her companion, with her companion. So sometimes she picks quarrels with Krishna. Sometimes she feigns, called dry crying. Krishna is trying to touch her garments, and Radharani starts dry crying, like protesting. But internally, she's very satisfied that Krishna is trying to touch her garments. And all these descriptions are given by Rupa Goswami in many of his books. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, how Radharani, she's sitting there and she's perspiring because she's remembering Krishna. And this perspiration, of course, is a symptom of ecstatic love of God. It's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was dancing in front of the Rath Yatra cart in Puri, and he was seeing Lord Jagannath's form. He became so ecstatic in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Tears were flowing from his eyes in a syringe way, and they were bathing all the devotees around him. And perspiration was flowing from the pores of his body. His body erupted just like, it says, like the thorns on a simula tree, a cotton tree. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in such ecstatic love, he couldn't even speak. His teeth were chattering. All these are descriptions of the symptoms of ecstatic love of God. That is our birthright. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come here, to let us, some of us, at least someone like Srila Prabhupada, these great acharyas, they are tasting this pure love of Krishna, the ultimate goal of life. Pramanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena. The one's eyes becomes decorated with the salve of love of God. So Radharani, Rupa Goswami says that she was perspiring profusely thinking of Krishna. And then she became embarrassed because her gopis were looking at her. And so she started rebuking the sun to cover up. Another time, the first time that Radharani meets Krishna in Vrindavan in the forest, she's feeling very bashful out of ecstatic love for Krishna. And a gopi comes up to her and says, Radharani, why are you being so bashful? One who has sold the elephant shouldn't be keeping the trident that guides the elephant. Why are you being so bashful? Krishna is also very shy. He's also, when he hears the name Radha, these two syllables, this is described in the Vidagdha Madhava by Rupa Goswami, that Purnamasi comes and she says, the granddaughter of Mukara, Radharani, is somewhere in this forest with Lalita and Vishaka. And when Krishna hears these two syllables, Radha, his hairs stand on end. And as Radharani is walking through the forest with Vishaka and Lalita, she hears the flute of Krishna. And immediately, uncontrollable trembling and shivering comes in her body. And she says, there's no cold wind blowing. I don't feel any snowfall. Why is my body shivering? And she tells Vishaka, oh, I'm a condemned woman, for I'm simultaneously in love with 3 males at once. She says, there's one person who plays the flute, and when it enters into my ears and into my heart, my body becomes uncontrollable and starts trembling. Then there's another man named Krishna, and when this sound enters into my ears, tears come to my eyes, and my hairs stand on end. And there's another person whose picture I see, a bluish complexioned fellow. And when I see this picture, I become stunned and my throat chokes up. Badanam Gadgada Rudaya Gira. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing. Badanam Gadgada. My throat chokes up. Srila Prabhupada sometimes when he was chanting Jai Radha Madhav, he would go into an ecstatic trance also. and he couldn't speak, his throat would choke up. So these are the great acharyas, and they're teaching us the ultimate goal is to understand who is Krishna and how to love him. And he's many things. Maya tadam idam sarvam jagada vyaktamurtina. He's spread everywhere in the universe. He's not a blade of grass moves without him. The wind is blowing out of fear of him, according to Kapila Dev. Everything moves out of fear of Krishna. At the same time, he's the object of a real affection. He's the object of love. So we have 2 more days. Or is it, Friday, right? The 19th. Krishna appearance day. He will appear. Although his pastimes are always going on in Vrindavan, Krishna will appear and we will celebrate his appearance. We will be fasting all day, glorifying the Lord all day, his transcendental beauty, his extraordinary pastimes. He's always surrounded by wonderful devotees in loving exchanges. These things are going on with Lord Krishna. And by his mercy, he has appeared, and all the great acharyas and sages have recorded all his pastimes and activities. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, the Kama-like non-devotees, even if I describe what it means to love God in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, so many descriptions of love of God is there. He says the Kama-like devotees who are accustomed to chewing thorns can never understand. Name prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha mudo yam nabijanati mame vyaparamavyayam. I have never manifested a foolish or less intelligent. He's covered by the Yogamaya potency. So the business of the great acharyas is also to give this wonderful knowledge, and they've written many literatures for the benefit of all humankind. Nana Shastra Vichara Naika Nipano Sadharma Samstapayo Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhivane Manyo Sharanya Karo. So the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Radha and Krishna. And he's empowering them to write wonderful literatures describing how to practice devotional service, how to become a good devotee, how to avoid the offenses, so on and so forth, and how to make progress in devotional service, and ultimately to taste the sweet nectar of the holy name, which is non-different from Lord Krishna himself, especially in Kali Yuga. Kali Kalera Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar, Nama Hoite Hoi Sarva Jagat Nishtar. The entire universe can be liberated simply by these holy names, Nam Namakari Bahuna Nija Sarva Shaktis. All the potencies of Krishna, and they're in his holy names. All his potencies, you can imagine. He's holding up all the universes in the form of Ananta Shesh, his brother Balaram. All the universes are being supported by Lord Ananta. Unlimited powers. All these planets are moving around perfectly by Krishna's powerful arrangement. Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate natatshamascha vyadakastra drishyate. Sarvasya shaktir vividhaiva shriyate swabhava ki jnana balakriya cha. This little son of Maharaj is full of immense and inconceivable potencies. Achintya guna swarupam. Inconceivable potencies. And he is a well-wisher of all the devotees, the demigods. Ete chamsa kalapum sam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. That again and again he comes to protect the demigods, the devotees, and reestablish the principles of religion for the benefit of all the fallen souls. So Kali Yuga, even the demigods are praying to take birth in the womb of devotees so that they can have a very easy way of going back to Krishna Loka, simply by chanting Kirtanadeva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Bhajet. Simply by chanting the name of Krishna. Krishna is dancing on your tongue. Rupa Goswami says, when the name of the Lord dances on my tongue, I desire millions of tongues. It's such a sweet taste. This is more advanced stages of devotional service called ruchi. When you chant the holy name and you taste Krishna on your tongue, ruchi. And when the holy name enters my ears, I wish to have millions and millions of ears. And when the holy name enters into my heart, it renders the mind and senses inert, and I'm not able to move. I become stunned. So this is a poem by Rupa Goswami. So that Krishna has entered his holy name, Nam Namakari Bahunadinja Sharva Shaktis. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Puno Shunum Nityo Mukto Binadvan Nama Namine. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has invested all his potencies in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have to beg for the mercy of the great Acharyas and beg for the mercy of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, that we can get one tiny drop of the mercy of the great devotees of the Lord. We just need a tiny drop, and we want to take bath in that drop. And that drop can drown the whole world in love of God. This is the panacea, this is the medicine. Inechi Oshadi Maya, Nashi Baralagi, Lord Chaitanya says, I brought you the medicine that can cure the disease of material attachment to this material world, the world of samsara. I brought the medicine. Simply chant Hare Krishna. That's the only alms they beg. Nityananda, Lord Balaram, comes here. He's the Adi Guru and he's begging us door to door. He's taking risks. God himself is approaching the public and taking risks to distribute the love of God. What to speak? Can we do it? God is doing it. Lord Nityananda is doing it with Haridas Thakur, Lord Brahma, door to door. So everyone has to go door to door and deliver this holy name, irregardless of danger. Because Krishna knows, he says, I protect you. Become conscious and I'll protect you. He protects his devotees, right? So if we have that faith and vigor and determination, we can get the mercy of the Lord by being patita pavana. As Narottam Das Thakur says, patita pavana hetu tava avatar. So we have to also be patita pavana, merciful to those who need the mercy. Pity the pitiable. Because for billions and trillions of lifetimes, they're destined down to the darkness of ignorance and lower species of life. That's a fact. And this is their only hope. No other way except the Brahma Gaudiya Madhava Sampradaya. And Srila Prabhupada has taken it all over the world. He's an empowered, he's the Senapati, the great general, as Bhaktivinoda predicted, that one great personality will appear and spread this love of God throughout the world. This ocean of devotion will be spread throughout the world. We simply have to try and please Srila Prabhupada and his predecessor acharyas. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.